All right, Christopher, I thought of you. I thought of my brother-in-law. I thought of Suze. I thought of every Patriot fan that I know. And I made sure that if I was going to do this, I'd have to do it right. I've done a lot of research.
Let's do it. What do you got?
And I've got, in honor of Tom Brady retiring for good, I've dusted off the old power rankings, and I have ranked the top 10 Tom Brady moments of all time.
Oh, baby, let's go.
Moments. Not just games, but moments. And also, there's only one way to handle one of them. It's got to be an entire season. So I've put it all together and hit it.
This is Marvel!
Power rankings!
There are many like it, but this one is mine! Power rankings!
All right, Mike, I need NFL Films music. And just to show you that I'm paying respects to the Patriot Nation, number 10 on this list is called The Snow Game.
Hey, thank you.
It's called The Snow Game.
Attaboy.
Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, what is that?
For everyone else, it's called the Tuck Rule Game.
Okay,
there was a lot of snow that day.
It happens to be the first career playoff game of Tom Brady.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, and Tom Brady down 13-3 as a 24-year-old in the season where, maybe it's Bledsoe's team after all if we get one and done here in the snow with Gruden's Raiders in town. Down 13-3 in the fourth quarter, a 10-play drive capped by a 6-yard touchdown run by Brady.
Oh, one of the all-time spikes in NFL history, too.
And then after the tuck, fumble, a 13-yard pass to David Patton, the next play to set up Vinatieri to force overtime, in which the Patriots got the ball first, and Brady marched him down the field, converted a 4th and 4 to David Patton from the 28 of the Raiders. Could have given the ball back, but instead he converted it, got it down to the 5-yard line. A 15-play, 61-yard drive in the snow of a 24-year-old. The Snow Game is number 10 on the list to set up Vinatieri for the field goal. Speaking of which, number 9 on the list is the first Super Bowl I covered for NFL Network, Super Bowl 38 against the Carolina Panthers, already with one ring on his finger and one in the case. He's down 22-21 in this game thanks to his own red zone interception, and he follows that up with a 68-yard drive capped by a touchdown pass to Mike Vrabel. And then after Carolina ties it, he throws an incomplete pass in the final drive of the game, follows that up with 4 straight passes. I'm in the end zone watching him march down the field the opposite way. First time I was ever on the field for an NFL game with NFL Network, and every single time he lets go of the pass, he's throwing it right to a Carolina Panther, and then either Patton or Deion Branch swoop right in and catch it. After a couple, I realized, Brady's thrown to his spot. He's doing this on purpose. He's actually on point. Sure enough, 4 completions later, including a 17-yarder to Deion Branch on 3rd and 13. He set up Vinatieri again. He became a 2-time Super Bowl champ and a 2-time Super Bowl MVP at age 26, and his 354 yards passing that night. 4th best game in the history of the Super Bowl, behind 2 of Kurt's and 1 of Montana's at the time.
One of the best fourth quarters of all time. 37
Unreal.
points in the fourth quarter of that game.
8th on my power ranking list. At age 37, this is the 4th and final time he faced one of his big nemeses in the AFC playoffs, and it's the Baltimore Ravens. I'm talking about number 8 on my list right here. The divisional round game in 2014 against Baltimore. They had lost 2 of their previous 3 games against the Ravens in the playoffs. They started 2-2 this year, finished 10-2 to be the top seed, and thus they hosted them. The Ravens led by 14 twice. The second time, the deficit was made up by a touchdown pass from Edelman to Amendola that shocked everybody. But it was Brady leading touchdown drives on 3 of their final 4 drives, including that Edelman grab. The biggest one was a 23-yarder to Brandon LaFell to wrap it up and take the lead and end it. 33 of 50, 367 yards, 3 touchdowns. He went on to beat Seattle in the Super Bowl. That's number 8. Number 7 on the list at age 41. By the way, he was 37 that day against the Ravens. At age 41, it was his first playoff game against Patrick Mahomes. And it was Mahomes' first AFC title game. As we all know, he's made 5 in a row now. He was the league MVP. They're in Kansas City. Mahomes comes back from a 14-0 halftime deficit to lead 21-17 in the fourth quarter, and Brady leaves not one but two touchdown drives. This game winds going into overtime. Brady converted three third and 10s, one to Edelman, two to Gronk. Rex Burkhead with a 2-yard touchdown to win it in overtime. How about that? They get the ball in overtime, score the touchdown to win it. 3 third and 10s converted, 348 yards passing, and a touchdown on the road in Kansas City, showing to Mahomes, not your time just yet. Number 6 on the list at age 30, the entire 2007 season. I mean, soup to nuts. 6 touchdowns against the Dolphins. Beats Peyton Manning in a battle of undefeateds in November. 4 touchdowns to Randy Moss against the Bills in the first half.
That's the game I was at.
Brady and Moss, of course, needed 2 touchdowns connected apiece in the final game in the Meadowlands. I will never forget this game. It was on NFL Network. It was our exclusive game. Patriots at Giants. And the whole country was wondering, where do we get it? We don't get NFL Network, maybe. We were only on in half the country. U.S. senators were writing letters to the commissioner threatening like antitrust hearings if they didn't put it on national television. Brady and Moss go into this building, and the Giants gave them, as you know, all they could handle, and they did get the 2 touchdowns, including a 65-yarder from Brady to Moss. Brady had 50 touchdown passes. Moss, 23 touchdown catches. Brady, 356 yards in those 2 touchdowns to Moss to complete a perfect regular season. That's 6. Number 5 on this list, by the way, he was 30 on that night. Number 5 on the list at age 43, Super Bowl 55. I mean, look, the fact that he leaves New England, and in his first season in Tampa, they start 7-5 and still win the Super Bowl his first year out of New England. At age 43, he threw 40 touchdowns that year, 4,633 yards passing. And in this game, he had 3 touchdown passes, including 2 to Gronk. They have 15 together. That's most all time. And the 2 in this game is what currently separates Brady to Gronk from Mahomes to Kelsey for greatest, most prolific touchdown passer and catcher combination in the history of the playoffs. He won a playoff game in Lambeau to make this game unbelievable. And then number 4 on the list, Super Bowl 43. I'm naming this one of his top moments because this made him one of the most relatable human beings on the planet. Him throwing the trophy in the boat parade. Him throwing it from one boat to the next, leading to the famous moment where Vivi, his daughter, screams at him not to do it.
I know.
And then afterwards, stumbling drunk out of the parade. Truly one of the most relatable moments. Like, it's this point, at this point, we all are like, we get you, Tom. It's your cheat day. Greatest cheat day ever.
He's wearing a knee brace. Like a
Greatest cheat day. Nothing to see hurt, just a little avocado tequila. Great tweet. So honestly, made Brady as relatable as he's ever been. That's number 4 on the list of top 10 Brady moments in my power rankings. Number 3, this is the high rent district. 37-year-old Tom Brady taking on the Seattle Seahawks. Look, I know they needed Malcolm Butler's catch to end things and bail them out. But Brady in this game, he was getting beat by a championship team that was going for back-to-backs, trying to make sure that Brady was no longer, and the Patriots were no longer the last quarterback in franchise to go back-to-back. Seattle had him. They got him picked off twice, 2 3-and-outs, and they were up 24-14, but that's when Brady got cooking. He found Edelman for a 21-yarder on a 3rd and 14. Otherwise, it would have been 3 straight 3-and-outs. He found Amendola in the end zone to cap that. Next drive, completed all 8 passes, found Edelman to become the first quarterback in the history of the Super Bowl to find 4 different receivers for touchdowns in the big game. That had never happened before. Gronk and LaFell were the other 2. It's his only 4 touchdown game in his Super Bowl career. He's never had another. And he prevents Seattle from going back-to-back and starts a string of 3 and 5 years for New England. Just when you thought they couldn't do it again, they hadn't done it since winning 3 of his first 4. He starts it again. That's number 3 on the list. Number 2 on the list is when Tom Brady showed up for the first time in a Super Bowl. It's unbelievable that this is still one of his greatest moments, and it is. As a 24-year-old, he goes into New Orleans and he beats the greatest show on turf. Period. I mean, and then this shot of him with his hands on his head looking at his family. The magic carpet ride was complete for this season and then just beginning for the greatest career of all time in the 9/11 Super Bowl, for crying out loud. And then number 1 on this power rankings list, as a 39-year-old, he comes back from 28-3 down against Atlanta. Truly the moment where everyone thought it was over for Tom in the middle of a Super Bowl. Bench him, bring in Garoppolo, it's all over. 28-3, he's throwing picks. Like, everything that had happened to Tom Brady on that night, we just never saw him do in a playoff game, let alone a Super Bowl, and he leads the greatest comeback in the history of the Super Bowl, and in so doing, throws for 466 yards at the time, most passing yards ever in a Super Bowl, only surpassed by his 505 yards in a loss to the Eagles the next year. Unbelievable. That's my power rankings.
Great West,
Those are
Rich.
fantastic, Rich.
Great West.
Rich, those are great.
What do you think? I mean, we missed a ton, but
I mean,
Yeah.
you can't narrow down
No.
23 years and 10 Super Bowls into 10 moments,
amazing.
but I love it, top to bottom.
it was great to go through it. Because as I said to him on the show, and you know, the NFL Network turns 20 this fall, and we will go back about the first 20 years, and I get emotional thinking about it. The fact that we started this network, and it's going to go on for a long time.
Yeah.
It's going to go on for a long time, long after I'm gone and long after. NFL Network is here to stay.
Yep.
And it means a lot to me and everyone who launched it. And how lucky are we that of the first 20 years, and I know that it's caused a lot of heartache and pain for a lot of other people who are like, cry me a river, Rich. What are you getting emotional for? But how lucky are we that when we talk about, look back at Brady's career, being an all-time great and a GOAT, and it's synonymous with the best ever, that we existed just as it was taken off. Yes. As a repeat champion, and then a back-to-back champion, and then not a champion, despite
10
not
years.
losing a game in the regular season, and then happening again, and then going to another spot and happening again. How lucky are we? We'll look back when we're NFL Network 60, like, wow, you were there to chronicle the Brady years, and I'm like so thankful for it. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.